Welcome back to the HGC. We've got a zinger on our hands. We get ready for game number 5 between Zealots and Fnatic. Zealots came out hot, pretty fresh, went up 2-0, and then Fnatic, they found their own here, their own heat, as they got 2 of their own wins.
And what is it with Fnatic and Game 5?
They lose them.
I mean, they end up in Game 5 so many times.
They do.
It's really, really weird. And so far, they are really struggling when it comes to that. Towers of Doom.
Always a fun one to end the series on. Let's see if Fnatic can pull through. Zealots still looking for their first win here in the HGC. But on the other side, Fnatic, they're looking for a spot at the Western Clash. And if they want it, they have to win from here on out. They got to get a win today.
Yeah. They have to do more than that. So it's not only about Fnatic winning, it's also about leftovers to stumble at some point. So this I actually think if they win the series, that would be great for Fnatic, because obviously heading into it, they didn't expect it to shape up this way. But if you're down 0-2 and you can make a reverse sweep happen for the morale of the team, and also just showing, okay, we are from a mentality perspective strong enough to deal with such a situation and come out as the victor, that would be great for them. If they lose now again on the 5th map, on the other hand, that would be a bit of a different story. But yeah, I'm definitely hyped for this one. This should be a great last game between the two teams here. We've seen 4 amazing maps already, a lot of back and forth. And again, the early Abathar ban, Fnatic going for the same ban for the 5th time in a row now.
Now the question for me, do we see anything to adjust for Zealots here to focus on that Rainer, which has been a priority foundation for Fnatic? Or do they assume they still have the answers? They've shown a couple of compositions that have been focused on trying to blow him up, which has given room for Mene to be on different heroes such as Zeratul and Gul'dan and really just kind of do as he pleases.
Also, it's interesting about Fnatic bans now, because they will leave Genji open, so that Zealots have to ban it out. So, okay, they take Diablo away. Diablo claimed. Now we should see a Genji ban on the side of the Zealots. The first 2 bans have been the same in every single game of the series, Tassadar and Abathar. Actually, not quite. Zealots first banned, or in the first ban rotation, we had Tassadar banned out every single time, but Zealots first banned Diablo the last time. This time, yeah, they banned out Genji again on the 2nd. Okay, so there we go. More or less as expected, and here's Last Hope's Dehaka again. Having the global, having that macro aspect, and also getting, again, the isolation and the tongues that we've seen from Last Hope now several times. Zealots, we're going to see that Blaze pick for them, and they're going to head into URL instead.
I love how Fnatic knew that Diablo Blaze is a common 1-2 pick for Zealots, so this time they knew they wanted to Haka, so they ban on Diablo to make sure that they can't get that combination here. And so Zealots adjust and get Muradin and Malfurion, but you see how Fnatic is staying up and staying focused on making sure not to allow that combination to go over. They have not let it to happen so far in this best of 5.
Actually, also when we're talking about combinations that the opponent wants, I could see them targeting Phoenix or Hanzo even in the next rotation here. It's something that we have seen over and over again. And Dehaka, Deckard, and Anubarak. Aggressive play again.
Saw Anubarak on our 3rd map, if I remember correctly.
I mean, we had him in game number 1 where they already played. Sorry, game number 2 where they already played him. It wasn't targeted in the bans yet, but it always indicates those aggressive rotations from Fnatic when they're trying to just sync up CC and get damage in. That means that they also need some burst damage themselves now, which is exactly what we could see Zealots target. Then they ban out Jimmy.
There he is. They want to see what Fnatic has up their sleeves instead. I mean, Fnatic has shown multiple of their heroes before in the past. They had a lot of Hammer, actually, from Swimby.
So now you're in an interesting spot when if you're Fnatic. Do you ban Phoenix? Do you ban URL? Is Blaze something where you say, okay, that's too much to stay in throughout the team fight? Those are, I would say, the obvious 3. There's a couple of others to consider too, but given the last few games, Tracer. A bit afraid of Tracer here. The Malfurion is already on the other side, even with Tassadar being banned out, and Abathar also banned. Tracer still a concern for Fnatic, so they ban it out, which leaves all of the just mentioned heroes still available for Zealots for the pick.
So what do you grab here? Do you move straight into the Phoenix if you're Zealots? They've always shown an affinity for him.
You leave Quagni's heroes open, so you go for Zarmani and you go for Chris, I'd say. That's Hanzo over Phoenix and Urel. Which means that we can still... I mean, you could still see a little bit of an overlap here, but we can also have a Liming. Unless, of course, Fnatic themselves picks Li Ming now. You have already Cocoon for Nubarak, so Li Ming for the Zealots would definitely be a consideration that's worth it, to burn down the Cocoon and then also get the damage in. It's another hero that we see Quacknix play. There's Zeratul, okay, so probably no Li Ming. Actually,
yeah.
Yep, there we have it. So we have Zeratul this time not from Mena but from Shrimpy, and we're gonna see Li Ming by Mena. So taking that away too and making the Cocoon a little bit more impactful.
Will you Jaina again from Quack? Will he adjust it?
Jaina against this is gonna be rough.
Yes, that's what I'm wondering.
I would say likely not. I think he's going to deviate away from that.
I'd rather Greymane here with Murden and Urel. Still be a bit painful, but at least you have a lot of damage output and can do pretty well in your one-on-ones. Yeah. There it is. Okay. Game 5. Spicy draft for our teams too.
I got this for Fnatic.
Yeah?
With the draft they have, I really like the setup here. You have a global. He's fantastic on that hero. Then you have Zeratul, Li Ming. And on the other side, Greymane, I feel, is going to have a rough time. It's Quacknix Greymane. He's really strong here. But I think from a draft, I like this draft way better from Fnatic than a lot of the drafts that they previously played. I mean, when they went into Infernal Shrines, there was the Uther pick that can definitely work out, but it felt forced a little bit that they were under pressure from the first game. I feel like every single time we went into a break, it really, really helped Fnatic. Just talk things through, breathe for a second, you know, calm down. And I feel this draft really showcases that too. I really like it. And Zealots have a lot of tools they used in the previous games. But that Zeratul, Li Ming setup in particular with an Nubarak that dives in too is going to put a lot of pressure out here. And the Cocoon plays are normally really strong for Fnatic with the coordination, and this time there's no disintegrate on the other side to burn it down.
For me, I actually really like Zealot's draft here, surprisingly. I like the ability for Yell to jump in, provide armor to Greymane. The Saber control should be solid if they can play around Dahaka. I don't know, I think Zealot's got this one in the bag. Let's find out here as we go to game on number 5. On the left side in the blue, Robodoba on Murden, Chris on Hanzo, Quack on Greymane, Zarmony on Urel, and Shat on Malfurion.
Final game of the series, Towers of Doom, and to the right it is Fnatic with Last Hope on his bay. He's on Dahaka, Mena on Li Ming, actually on Zeratul, my bad, they switched it around the other way. Breeze is on the front line, playing Nubarak. Here we have Shrimpy on Li Ming, and last but not least, it's Smexy on Decker Kane. Talking about the point you raised, I actually really like the thought process that you had there too. Like the idea of giving the extra armor for Greymane when you jump in with Urel is actually definitely powerful. I still think that on an execution level, when we have that Fnatic setup with the pressure against Hanzo, especially him, but also Malfurion, with this Li Ming and Zeratul setup, this is why I think that Fnatic has a bit of an edge there. But I can definitely see the argument going the other side.
To me, it really comes down to Sapper control. How aggressive is Robodobo going to be? Will they be able to dodge out into Dahaka? If Dahaka shows up, finds a drag, and they get a reset going, gosh, Fnatic's composition is terrifying.
Yeah.
And we'll see if they can get that happening here. That'll be happening about 20-25 seconds when we start to have our first Sapper spawn. For now, it's about wave clear as the two begin to rotate. Greymane and Urel even coming down here to the middle a little bit, just making sure that Quack doesn't have too much of an issue dealing with Mane. A bit of a trap here as Breeze thinking about Burrow charging in.
Quacknix knows it too. And Robodoba, even with the stun and the immediate follow-up, there's like, he's 100% in that push. This is one of those reasons when you are that familiar with the team, Quacknix playing formerly for Fnatic for so long, you know where Breeze is. You definitely know. It's like the Zealots have a bit of a map hack here.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. It's
identifying trends.
There's of course elements to it, you know, that you can't anticipate just simply because the Fnatic now has a different shot caller. Urel actually going down as Zeratul gets that kill. But yeah, so with a different shot caller and Last Hope being a new player, there are a few differences, but some things just stay the same. And especially when it comes to the anchor plays that we see from Breeze, Quacknix very likely is going to have his number in a lot of these cases.
The same can be said too for when Quack wants to go into a fight, right? Some of these numbers for Fnatic know when he wants to go for an execution. A lot of mind games actually between these two teams, probably on a smaller level that we can't even see visibly, but a lot of control between them as we continue to head towards 4. Sappers come in on the left for Zealots, easily getting cleared up here by Fnatic as they slowly siege it down. They'll have their own separates for defense as well. But with Robodobo lurking in the shadows, Fnatic needs to be careful. He could jump in and provide a Storm Bolt, especially if she'll be able to overstep.
Yeah, explosive arrows again also for Hanzo, trying to get that extra clear in. This time we have Broccoli taken, Vengeful Roots for Mel.
Good against Li-Ming too.
Yeah. Eats up a lot of the shots.
Yeah.
From both sides, we currently have really the attempt to just get some lockdown and then maybe commit to another kill. Earlier it was Urel that overstepped slightly and got punished for it. So Zarmony fell as made the rotation. But now it's going to become interesting. With the first altars activating on the map, this is really one of the moments where you have to start and make a few of your plays. Breeze, by the way, also on level 4 now, not going for the super heavy dive. He goes into the extra movement speed that he has on the Hardened Carapace. Makes it a bit easier for him to position in those fights and also get out of a situation where even chase an opponent.
Zealot's going for a bit of an unorthodox play as they go straight for Dehaka, actually. Stormbolt comes out. With him using that drag, he couldn't burrow to dodge it. He burrows now, but the root's out. Takes some damage. Man's trying to keep him alive while Zarmony goes in for the full aggression. Eventually, they will have to pull away. Now, no altar has been grabbed yet for the Zealots, so Fnatic is already starting to rotate over.
I like the idea, though. It was actually a really cool rotation from the Zealots. It was a very smart attempt. It didn't work out, also because Last Hope just reacted immediately. He sees what happens, and instead of like panic burrowing or anything, he just starts with the drag, and then he just baits a little bit of time. He's able to burrow, he activates the trait, gets the essence in, and Mene helps him out afterwards. But the thought process was actually really, really cool.
Any other solo laner may have been a pick, even Urel. Dehaka able to survive through that thanks to his essence. We do get a total of 8 shots for Fnatic, meaning that Fnatic will be in the lead, 36-32. The Zealots only get 1 altar.
Zealots with very aggressive rotations here. I really like it. They always set up 4-man traps against heroes. They did it against Last Hope. They just tried it against Mene. And this is very reminiscent of Fnatic usually how they play. So Quacknick's definitely coordinating the team here accordingly. They haven't found kills yet, but they're definitely looking for them. Shat, on the other hand, he's low and goes down. Dehaka moves in, the drag connects, and the double kill as Muradin falls shortly after. Snap decision making by Fnatic. And an easy 2 kills, and of course, as a result, the map control with a camp taken at the bottom.
Yeah, this will be a little open to turrets here on the bottom left if Fnatic goes for a full invade, and they do. Show me coming in, dropping down a bit of a combo too. There goes the Sappers, so they'll be getting some damage in. And suddenly that close experience that was there swings heavily over to Fnatic as they jump up to about 8.5 to 7 3/4. A drag on Urel as well, and I mean, they shouldn't be able to clean this up. Quack is currently lurking in the shadows, willing to follow up with Manowar to overcommit, perhaps using his Blink as well as his Vorpal Blade.
Mena's going to be happy with getting the extra damage in, but he knew that there was someone already waiting. So I love how cautious these guys are. Or both sides. When we have an opportunity, they jump on it immediately, but they're really careful about traps that are being laid on the map. And this is actually something that is insanely impressive by the two teams here, that they put out so many traps here right now where they're just saying, if you overstep just a second, if you go into that bush, if you show yourself in
the slightest at all, we're going to jump in and get the full engage on you. Shad goes in for the altar. And start the channel here as they'll go ahead and get a few more shots coming in. 9.25 to 8.5. Fnatic is ahead in experience, but Zealots to get some points on the board.
Yeah, while I'm dying to something I must have eaten earlier, what I wanted to say is, even if you just unmount, if you're Sean Lane, if you move out to try and clear the wave, you'll die. So they have to just play around vision so much here. It's really cool to see. And it's also very adequate for that third game that we have here. But Fnatic has gotten the better end of most of these situations. They are in a really good spot now in experience when it comes to core hit points. They're exactly on the same level, 32 versus 32, but it's that early level 10 for Fnatic that really makes the difference here for now.
But Zealots aren't going to give them anything, really. You have Greymane and Urel in the top lane working on the Sappers. They have eyes on Fnatic. They know where they are. Fnatic gets to have whatever they want right now, which is going to be turrets. They shouldn't be able to get a 4 anything, especially with no Sappers in the bottom part of the map. Zealots are content. Play it slow, play it safe. Make sure not to lose anyone here. There's no altars up. You don't have to risk anything. They're working on their own 10, and they even sneak away the Sappers at the top, as mentioned as Greymane was able to sneak over there.
And Fnatic hasn't really gotten too much out of their level 10 advantage. They're trying to make that play now at the bot lane, but Zealots are very, very passive, and they need to be. So they're trying their best to just defend, but it's very tricky for Fnatic to get more out of it than they did. They got the fort down to half HP in the bell tower, but that's all they can do for now. Dehaka might change that though. He's still at the top lane, and now that we have the next altar spawning in 20 seconds at the bot lane, he can try and get the extra wave and then burrow down, so maybe even get that additional leading experience that will snowball over time.
Blow up comp coming in. Dragon Arrow, Curse Bullet, Avatar Stormbolt coming in as well for Robodoba. We'll see if they can find that moment.
It's really the cocoon that matters.
Yeah.
Resetting their play up is going to be so important. Fnatic is holding the position. I don't think they have any hopes of getting that right now, not without Dehaka, but as long as they can just push the opponent back to their position, Dehaka gets more value.
Yep, buying time like crazy. Here comes the arrow. Robodoba comes in, Stormbolt, Curse Bullet, but the VP, it's not enough though, as a Nubrak gets cleaned up by Zarmany.
Yeah, really well done here. Great kill, even with Mena reacting this quickly and getting a 3-man Void Prison out, and Nubarak is down, and that's the first kill for the Zealots, and it's exactly that blow-up combo that you've been talking about. You start with the arrow, you get the stuns in, and then comes the Twilight Dream, plus also, of course, the Cursed Bullet from Greymane, and there's just no escaping it. So that was a beautiful setup by the Zealots. They get the kill, they channel the altar, and now they are at least ahead when it comes to the points on the core. 32 against 28, still behind experience, but that was an important step in this game for them.
Zealots really want to open this bottom lane. They bring Zarmany in as well as they go straight in for these sappers. Mano gets some damage in, but with no VP, not much he can do here to lock down anybody. Fnatic set up for defense while 6 sappers start to rotate in. There goes the gate. There takes the turret as well, and should get a little bit of damage on this fort as well. Now, Fnatic, if they want to force a fight, they still have a cocoon available. They decide to move in. No, they don't. And Pale comes out, delaying Quack a little bit, but the fort, it takes the damage.
Yeah, and Fnatic wants 13. That's why Dehaka is rotating from mid to top the entire time. And he already positioned himself every time he rotates so that he can... when he rotates from the top to the middle, he always makes it from a positional perspective so that if someone rotates into soak top lane experience, he can slow him down and deny to them. So it's really well played by him, getting the most out of it, especially with the vision that they have at the bot lane. He knows that there's no 2-man rotation coming his way, and that gives them the level 13 now. So that's a slight advantage they have, and the question just still remains, can they get something out of it? There's altars activating in 30. Zealots should have enough time to get their own 13 by the time, so Fnatic might try and force something now.
12.5. Can they get 13 in time for this? No, good 18 seconds. There's what? Menu wave in the middle, menu wave in the bottom. It'll be close.
They don't have the global as a problem, and if they had the global, they could send someone top lane and take it there. So bot lane altar should definitely go over to Fnatic. It's, I feel, the middle one that we're going to see the fight over.
Yep, Zealots seem to agree with you as they set up for that. Already Zarmany starts to start the channel. Breeze buying some time here on the south. Zealots putting a little bit of pressure here. Not really trying to force the issue, but trying to find room for Zarmany.
There we have it. 13 still not there for Zealots. Should get it soon, but with Urel actually trying the channel, I think it was a bit of a problem. Urel could have taken the mid lane. Takes the wave now, but it allows Smexy to actually get that a bit earlier. Okay, eats the arrow, and immediately again the follow-up attempt. Yeah, stay a while and listen, keeping Nubarak alive, and the turnaround attempt. Our shade is already low, and last hope is in the backline. The Twilight Dream comes through, but it's just not enough as Mane gets the first kill, gets the reset, but here comes the Void Prison.
And that's why Zealots need a 13. Had Iceblock been up, Malfurion may have lived. Avatar connects, a couple of pieces of damage out here from Zealots, but it looks like Murden eventually gets cleaned up thanks to the reset. Mane is staying with the Goat Lady as he continues to try and chase her down, but Urel is able to escape.
And Shrimpy, of course, got the kill here with Liming here, since he's the one playing Liming this time. Mane finds himself on Zeratul, so that was the one moment of disconnect there. But still, they confirmed the kill shortly after against Muradin. So the double kill, Fnatic goes in. But it really shows how important it is that if you try to use that blow-up setup, that insta-blow-up setup, that you get the kill confirmed. And that didn't really work out with Smexy using the stay and while listen there.
So close to getting that kill. And imagine if the 13 was here. Healing setup would have been up. You would have had the ability for natural agility cooldown reduction. You would have had Ice Block available, Vindication as well.
But it comes back to the same thought process. Urel could have gone mid lane and soaked the wave. Fnatic didn't try to channel the mid lane altar at this point, and they still had other heroes around that could have gone for the interrupt. So if Urel moves mid lane, soaks the wave, instead of trying to channel herself, they get 13 and can fight over the altar. As it happens, they can't contest the bot lane because the scatter arrows of Hanzo didn't interrupt that arcane, and then it's a fight about the mid altar with a talent disadvantage for the Zealots, and now of course they're paying the price.
16 about to hit for Fnatic. They control the point in the bottom left. It'll take a while here for Zealots to burn this down.
Dehaka plays such a big role now.
Yeah. Being able to double soak allows Fnatic to be able to be empowered in this bottom left lane. They just clear, clear, clear all day. And Zealots just poke here and there. Maybe an arrow comes in, maybe one auto attack from Greymane, but they just cannot overstep.
Yeah, and of course, there's always the threat of the Haka just coming down, because right now Zealots have decided that they will maybe have to yield the position at the bot lane, but they still need Urel to take the experience in the mid and top, because if they don't do that, that talent disadvantage is going to snowball even harder. So that's currently the entire thought process here. And we have triple altars on the map again. Fnatic is very likely to get 2 of these, and that would mean that we see Zealots fall down to 14 points on the core, so they're going to try and make a play around it, but they still don't have 16. They're lacking that talent.
They deny the sappers. They move up for the top left tribute. Going to try and buy as much time as they can if anyone were to rotate over. And at least they get 1 as Malfurion will finish that channel, but Fnatic able to get a total of 10 shots coming in, as you mentioned.
And they
hold down to 14.
They also hold on to the bottom bell tower, which is also super important here, since Zealots didn't have anyone that was starting to take that down. Up here to the top, though, the big question. Zealots expect the play for the boss. Nice drag here. Last Hope is in. There's the root on the ground already. That works so far. Hanzo's actually starting to show at the bot lane because he wants to reclaim the bell tower. That could really trigger an aggressive move from Fnatic up at the top. But nope, they're sending Li Ming instead down to the bot lane to still hold on. They want to have the bot lane control since it's so important for the 2 mercenary camps.
Getting that full wave 2 in the top lane to work on the 16. So Zealots finally will be able to get this. And once they get 16, they can consider the idea of trying to force a fight.
Zealots is in a rough spot. You're 2-0 in the series, and then you find yourself on the 5th map. And so far, every time Fnatic has played that 5th map, they lost it. They were taken down. But this time, they are looking quite strong here. And for Zealots, it might be a bit disheartening after seeing so much progress in their play from week to week to still being behind now after having such a massive lead in the series itself. But their 16 talent level is there. And especially when we look towards Greymane, we now have the extra damage if they're trying to blow up that front line. Having Alpha Killer available for Greymane is just great for them. But Fnatic with a quick sneak play at the boss.
Not getting the 4 extra shots will put Zealots down to 10, but the bottom bell tower taken back by the Zealots. So at least they have a decent amount of map control finally back on their side, but the Hawk continues to press the issue in the top left.
It's the trade, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you give up boss, but you take the bell tower back. It's just one of those things that is like, okay, how much is that worth to us? And they take that control again. Now a camp at the bot lane is taken super quickly here. But this is all about the remaining 10 shots that the Zealots now have on their core. They're trying to get their own channel through, and they actually do that pretty well. This is also a great avenue for another Hanzo arrow. Fnatic needs to be aware of this, and here it comes! And the dodge! A little bit too obvious.
Good play by Last Hope. It turns around, gets a drag 2 on Muradin. Silence as well, so he can't jump out or even pop Avatar. Great play by Last Hope in the last 10 seconds.
Last Hope with fantastic play here. The burrow into the back as well. Trying to get another drag, but Chris is a bit faster. Mena is here now too. They're trying to go for a Shed. Twilight Dread comes out, but he is still going to fall. Ice Block or no Ice Block, it doesn't even matter here anymore. Breeze is missing the stun, but Malfurion has no escape path left to him. That's a confirmed kill here, and they make it a triple as they're going straight in for you. Can they make it a triple? Somebody might actually be able to survive. Nope, used the jump, didn't jump far enough, and that's the death and the demise of him. Bottom lane, by the way, is already pushing against the bell tower, and in the meantime, Fnatic is aggressively taking the top. Zeratul then, or Deckard, can channel the right side, and that will bring the Zealots down to 5 points.
That it will. Top left ultra cleaned up. Here comes the 5 shots.
You said it already. Last Hope. What a fantastic... I mean, it was a bit of an obvious play. You know that arrow is coming. Hanzo is the one that channels. You know he wants the arrow. But he makes all the right moves. He dodges the arrow, turns around, gets the drag in. Once the drag's over, bam, there's the silence. And Muradin is just getting completely ruffle-stomped in that moment. Has no chance of doing anything here. And now Zealots on 5 points on the core against 21 for Fnatic. Fnatic is about to hit level 20, whereas Zealots is just about to aim for level 18. Fnatic is in an amazing position in this game now.
Yeah, this gets really difficult for Zealots. Their options are quite limited. 20 to 18. Gonna have to take a fight eventually here, especially with an ultra spawning to the south. They have to keep full control of this bell tower. They're actually trying to find some way to surprise their opponents, putting 4 in this bush here in the top right corner. If anyone were to sidestep, Hanzo can get a Dragon's Arrow, and maybe they can blow somebody up.
20 is there, and look at Last Hope. He's at the top lane, he's waiting at the camp, he's going to wait for the altar to be announced, and then he's going to take the camp at the top lane before he pushes through. They know there's a trap, so Fnatic doesn't move at all. Like, we know what you want. If we step into a trap right now and you get an insta-kill, then we might lose that advantage that we have. We're not going to give you that. So Fnatic, now that they have vision, can start to make these plays. The Haka is now trying to take the camp at the top lane. Fnatic is playing it safe, they're playing it slow, they're playing it patient. They know they have the advantage. It's on the Zealots to make a move right now.
Even the Hardened Shield getting used. Here comes a VP. The Haka should be coming from behind. There he is. Malfurion with the immediate Ice Block. Will dodge out in the isolation, but can't dodge Swippy, who goes in for a kill. He gets a reset. Hanzo gets picked off too. Quack will be next. Robodoba and Zarmony trying to sit here and be as robust as they can be. Spinning in a couple circles as two, as they know Fnatic has just earned the victory. With an altar available in 4 seconds, Fnatic can go for the channel and go for the win.
Zealots know it's over. The camp at the top lane is already pushing through. The altar is getting channeled, and Smexy is going to confirm the victory here for Fnatic as they go for the reverse sweep, turn it around against the Zealots and win the series with a 3-2.
Took a while for Fnatic to warm up, but the moment they did, they were ablaze with great plays, and they were able to grab the win here, a 3-2 over the Zealots. The Zealots starting out nice and getting a nice little 2-0, trying to finish it out, just could not do so, and they have yet to get a win in the HGC. But Fnatic keeping their hopes and chances for the Western Clash alive.
Fnatic definitely proving now also, first of all, that they can win a 5th game in the series, and second of all, that they can perform a reverse sweep. For the morale of the team, that's fantastic.
It's gonna be a big win, yeah.
Losing 2 maps is a problem against Zealots because you want to improve your map score, and they just don't really do that. Fnatic is currently sitting at 12 wins and 12 losses, so that's exactly 50% and at 0. That's not good, especially if you consider that teams like Dignitas that currently dominate are at plus 14. So Fnatic is far behind when it comes to that. But for morale, this must be great. Zealots, on the other hand, it's tough. I mean, we said it at the beginning. They had the bad luck of facing off against direct competitors in the first 2 weeks, and those were the first 2 weeks where they didn't have the synergy yet. Now they are facing against top teams the entire time. So for them, losing a series, it's to be expected. But the way that they performed here today, that was fantastic, and I could have totally seen them after the initial 2 maps to take the entire series with a 3-0. So it must be a little bit disheartening for them to just lose match after match, but the way that they continue to improve really showcase that if you underestimate them at any moment, they are going to punish you hard for that. And it might be a little bit of problematic for them in part 1 of phase 2, but once we're coming back and we're aiming for BlizzCon, they can definitely start to make sure that they move away from those Crucible ranks, and it's going to be extremely tough for other teams that are direct competitors to beat them again.
I mean, you talk about Fnatic going to Game 5 and how difficult it's been for them finally getting a victory, but that's starting to become the MO for Zealots right now. Remember, they went to Game 5 against Team Liquid. They did the same against Granite Gaming, and now they've done it against Fnatic. So Zealots having a bit of a difficult time here. It's just a matter of turning on that on switch. Let's go ahead and check out the extended standings, actually, that Keldor just alluded to as we continue to prepare for the Western Clash. And, of course, these numbers do matter for BlizzCon as well. So Team Dignitas at the very top with a plus 14, and Fnatic, who just got a win today, currently sitting at that 0.
And again, keep in mind that Fnatic currently, so in the long run, they're going to compete with, very likely compete with Team Liquid, Method, and Dignitas for BlizzCon spots. But right now, they compete with Leftovers for a Western Clash spot. And Leftovers, they can still make that out of their own power. The question is, are the Leftovers at any point slipping up? And Fnatic still has a better map score, at least for now. Yep. So that's already worth something here, at least. But yeah, standings and everything is just super close. For me personally, it's just, I look at Zealots and I say, I have no problem with you guys losing every single match until the Western Clash now, because I know who you're up against. You're up against like really tough teams. If you continue to perform on that level though, and you grab a map and every now and here and there, then going into the second part of phase 2 is going to be awesome for you guys, because you're going to be so powerful and so strong that you can definitely make it out of those crucible spots if you continue that play. And if you have a team that is so strong that they can deal with all these losses, that's worth a lot. Because it's always easy to win. It's easy if you win every single game. It's a lot tougher when you are losing to just keep working on it.
Well, let's go over to Schwimpy, who will be talking for Fnatic as they finally get a win here in a best-of-5 series. You guys pull it through with reverse sweep. Schwimpy, how you feeling, man?
Pretty good, pretty bad at the same time, you know. The first games were disasters, but I guess we just had to lose 2 games to win a series, you know.
Always so hard on yourself, Shwimpy. I gotta ask you, going into game number 3, you guys were down 2-0. You and I talked about this in an interview the other day, mentioning you were trying to bring yourself together to be able to empower your teammates and, of course, focus on getting a win. What was the moment going into game number 3 that you guys were able to pull it together and actually achieve today's victory?
I mean, as soon as we picked Cursed, I was pretty confident we were gonna win, because we never lose on the map, it feels like. And yeah, at that moment, we were all confident, and we knew like we're a way better team. We just had a really bad game 1 where they snowballed incredibly much, and then game 2 was, you know, I don't know what went wrong, but it wasn't our game, and we're a better team. We just have to keep calm and win, you know?
Okay, well, fair enough. Over to Caldor.
First of all, congratulations. Good to have you in the interview here too. I got a couple of questions for you, actually. First one, right away. You guys experiment currently more than any other team in the league. Like when we look at the amount of heroes that you play, you are by far ahead. Do you feel that you guys overdo it a little bit with that? Or is that just something where you say, hey, we have so many different strategies and we feel all of them work?
Maybe in the start it was too much, because like in the start you should get the synergy together and you should get the team together. But the longer into the season we go, I think it's a fair advantage for us. But at the start it might have been a disadvantage, because the synergy was like coming after, because we didn't play the same stuff every time.
Okay, when it comes to synergy, how difficult is it for you personally to now fill that position? I mean, you've played with most of the guys before already, obviously. So on a personal level, I would assume that you guys don't have too many issues. But when you look towards the leadership position, that's something that within Fnatic at least you haven't held to that extent. Is that a lot of pressure for you? Do you feel that you do you struggle with that in any way? Talk to me a bit about taking all that responsibility onto your shoulders now.
For sure, it's more pressure, and for sure it makes me want to perform even more, you know. And it's stressful because I have to perform in a mechanical level, so I play a lot of Hero League, and then at the same time I have to study drafts, you know, watch replays for macro, and it's very stressful, but it's something I enjoy, and I think I'll be more comfortable the further in we go.
Do you feel
Yeah.
that it's a little bit of a so from the way that I know you, you are someone that, as you said, you feel you have to perform even more than you usually do. And I know from you, like we talked in the past, that when you guys are down, you feel you have to be the one who makes the plays right now. Do you think that in that leader position where you am right now, that can be a bit of a disadvantage because you put too much pressure on yourself instead of just allowing someone else on the team to be the one that really shines there, whereas you lead, so to say, like the macro game and the draft and take a bit of the pressure away from you?
Uh, I wish it was possible for me as a human, but I don't really work that way. You know, I like working really hard, and I want to perform. Like otherwise, I will feel really bad about myself, and it will make me even worse. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But for sure, like Mena has stepped up and taken a little bit of the responsibilities we have. You know, and he's stepping us as a dad in the team, and you know, takes care of those things.
The dad.
And yeah, I mean, that's how it is, kind of, and it really helps. I think you'll see a stronger performance from all of us in the future.
Okay, one last question, and that's mainly the way coming here. I mean, you guys formed a new lineup, and you expected, obviously, to. I mean, one of the reasons why you changed the lineup is because you felt, okay, this is going to strengthen the team. We're going to attack Dignitas right now. We're going to be in the 1-2 spot again. We're going to have a fight with them. That backfired hard, and you guys were really just like you had really horrible losses where you were in the 5th game and you fall apart again. You make it to the 5th game again, you lose again. How much of a problem was that for you guys to change from your mentality and your attitude to just say, okay, we have to keep working? How difficult was it for you guys to just make sure that you don't fall apart because people are getting angry at each other and blame each other because the results are not what you expected?
I don't think anyone has blamed each other here in this team. Like our atmosphere has been great. Like even when we lost, obviously the day and the day after, it feels like literally like shit, you know. But when we come back to scrims, we go 6-0 every time in both blocks. Like we completely destroy everyone and have a good attitude. So it hasn't been a problem. For sure, it's hard to adjust to losing because none of us has done it before. But honestly, the the mentality and the team atmosphere is great.
Where do you think this discrepancy comes from, though, from your scrim results to what happens then when you play on the HGC play day?
Actually, I have no idea. Like, there's just so big difference. Every player acts differently, plays differently, and I think we just have to work as a group, play more games, then we will be one of the best teams in the league.
All right, thank you very much, Wimby, for the answers, and yeah, good luck for the future.
Speaking about the best teams in the league, let's go ahead and talk about the schedule here. You have to face off against Dignitas tomorrow, and for you to continue to have your hopes and dreams of going to the Western Clash alive, it feels like you guys have to beat them, and then you take on the Monkeys. So, Dignitas, let's talk about them first. They are the best team in the league right now, and you guys have to take them on. How are you feeling about that?
I mean, it sounds completely weird if you look at our results, but I think we have a chance. Like, everything might just let loose and we might win, or we might get 3-0. And I really don't know what Fnatic is going to show up tomorrow, but we will have to see. I think we have a shot, at least, even though it looks bad saying it right now.
No, I think it's totally fine to have that mindset of we want to go in and be confident against the best team in the league, and we have a chance to win this. That's actually a good mindset to have, and we're going to go ahead and let you go with that mindset, and hopefully you're able to get that victory tomorrow as you guys continue to strive for the Western Clash. But before you leave, as usual, the floor is yours for shoutouts.
Shout out to my girlfriend, my dad, my mom, my team, my second dad, Mene, and you two. Thank you.
Schwimpy with the shoutouts. Thank you so much. Congratulations on their big victory today as they get a 3-2 win over the Zealots. Mene becoming a dad, apparently. Look at that, man. I just imagine him with a little picnic basket as he plays Gul'dan on the side.
Yeah, he has 4 kids now.
He has 4 little kids. 4 little Swedish kids just running around constantly.
I can't picture him in that spot at all. But I actually really like that Shrimpy was so open about the way that how we talked about all of this. And I mean, you saw the schedule just now. You saw how tough those games were for them. I mean, if you think about it, they nearly played the maximum amount of maps possible.
Yeah.
It's one single series that didn't end on the 5th game. That only went to the 4th. So that's a lot of pressure here on them. And I think, as you said at the start, the victory feels good and bad at the same time. You wanted the 3-0. You wanted to be dominant. Didn't work out, but you still got the win. Yeah.
It's raining, that's for sure. And we'll see how Fnatic handles it, because tomorrow they have to face off against Dignitas. But we have a series today that we'll be focusing on. Next, Monkeys and Granite Gaming. We'll be right back after this commercial. Of the Immortal, bringing in that penetrating round. Last Hope goes in, gets a nice jab propulsion on 2. Robodobo gets locked out.